The world right now is chaotic and changing every day. It's hard to keep sane with the news that we're being constantly pounded with. Most of us are confined to our homes and are beginning to feel restless and worried. In a time like this, it's important to keep calm and stay home. I send my thoughts and well wishes out to all of those who are affected by this pandemic. You may be wondering, why at a time like this am I taking it easy and creating art? At this time, it's important to resist the urge to panic and feel restless, and art has the capacity to help you do so. Appreciating and making art are perfect vehicles for doing so. Although my artwork isn't solving the crisis we have at hand, being able to passively make someone relax during this trying time, even if only for a few minutes, is very valuable. Art for me is a source of comfort and calmness and distraction, so I hope it is for you as well. Stay positive. I think it's important to share the process of my art with you all. Today I'm going to be painting a small escape, taking you all the way to Monet's garden in Giverny, France, far away from the troubles and worries that we're facing now. I'm going to be doing a study of a painting by the French artist Claude Monet. Monet, born in Paris in 1814 and later raised in Le Havre, is very well known for his beautiful impressionist sceneries. As a child, Monet hated school. He couldn't bear to be locked indoors for 4 hours per day. Imagine how he would feel being forced to quarantine like us. His style of painting in plein air, which he learned from Eugene Boudin, is indicative of his desire to be outside and be free. Artists during this time had a very strong observational skill and were able to depict scenes, people, and objects they saw with pretty incredible accuracy. When they painted portraits, it was as if the person was brought in front of you. When they painted sceneries, it was as if you were actually taken to and standing in that beautiful hilltop or valley. It was when he went to Paris that he realized how much potential the act of art making really had. He visited the Louvre and was so impressed by the works of the old masters. Monet saw Paris as an endless source of beauty and inspiration. He wanted to capture every scene and every place he saw in paint. He, along with his fellow artist comrades, painted endlessly and displayed their art. To those who saw his artwork, he was surrounded by endless beauty and happiness, by the nature of his paintings. But in reality, he lived a large portion of his life struggling to make money and make ends meet for him, his wife, and his son Jean. Sick of living in poverty, he had sent his wife and child away to the countryside, and he himself was forced to leave Paris for England and the Netherlands, seeking refuge from the Franco-Prussian War. At this point, he didn't even have the help of his parents and had to do everything in his ability to make ends meet during a difficult time in history. He eventually came back to France, to Argenteuil, to live nominally with his family. This is when he created some of the most memorable paintings of his career, not to mention the fact that he had another baby, Michel. He felt quite helpless, with not a penny to his name, and running out of credit in every shop that he frequented. Yet this was the time in his life that he felt he was able to work the best. Despite having nothing, he found peace and small joys in the country. He found the beauty of solidarity and the beauty in the change of seasons. He worked endlessly and came home to his happy little family. Being still in contact with his fellow artists, Renoir, Pissarro, and Sicily, He was able to exhibit his paintings of the countryside life in their joint and private Société Anonyme des Artistes Peintres, Sculpteurs et Graveurs. He was creating profusely, sharing his art, and living minimally. He was happy. But this happiness didn't last long, because his family began to fall ill, and he didn't have the money to take care of them. Needless to say, he didn't have the money to buy the art supplies that he needed to paint, despite his rigor for creating. It wasn't long before his wife Camille passed away. Probably at the lowest point of his life, he took it upon himself to move away. He moved in with the family of Ernest Hochedet, closer to the sea, in Vaudreuil, and seeks some comfort and inspiration. He created some of his best works during this time. He gained a newfound appreciation for nature and began to embrace his loneliness. He decided he wanted to show people how delightful the sights that he saw were. Alice Hochedet ended up taking care of the children as he worked. As Monet endured this emotional turmoil, Ernest was troubled with his own financial struggles. He ended up leaving for Belgium bankrupt. So Monet, Alice, and the children struggled alone for 2 years to find peace together. The emotional roller coaster that they were on together ended up bringing them to Giverny. Hidden away in Normandy, this small hideaway is what became Monet's paradise. They rented and then bought the home in Giverny and put all of their efforts into decorating its garden. Following the death of her husband, Alice and Monet ended up getting married. From the confines of their small abode, Monet produced countless paintings of his garden and the pond. This painting I'm recreating here is the Japanese bridge that he had amidst his trees above the iconic pond of lilies. Though the world around him was in constant flux and he endured several periods of turmoil, Monet made the best of the situations that he was in. He never left his craft of painting and made beautiful art. He made art so that others could enjoy the beauty he saw in the world. Even during the lowest points of his life, when he barely made it by, he continued to create in order to share his vision with the public. He used every opportunity to express himself. Painting was his solace, but it was also an escape for those who viewed his art. He was able to transport people to different places, to different seasons. He was revolutionary. It's almost funny that the life of an artist can sometimes be very solitary in nature. This confinement that we're in right now because of the pandemic isn't very different from how we artists went about our lives and work before all the chaos started. I'm going to do my best to contribute positively during these hard times, whether that's by sharing my work with you all or teaching you to create as well. This is the perfect time to make art, and being cooped up by yourself isn't too big of a hindrance on the process. So I urge you to try as well. Thanks for watching.